What's going on? It is 11:32. I just clicked over to 11:32. So I want to, as we're sitting here, one of the things that really kind of hits me as commitment, if you've ever heard Higdon's story, or if you're on his webinar last Wednesday, you probably, morning everybody except for Krivda. Thanks, dude. If you've heard him talk about his 20 no's a day until he hit his place, I really find that interesting. It's it's not a 20 calls a day, by the way. It's 20 no's. So if you got 15 yeses, it wasn't done yet. That's 35 calls. So that's a big place. Thank you, Tammy. Man, I really acknowledge you for being bold enough to put that. That's amazing. So what's up, Kelly? Good to see you. What's up? Thanks, Sean. I see you. What's up, David? Thank you. I appreciate you, brother. So here's the thing. If we take, I'm gonna go through these fairly quickly because I think they're just important. And I want to talk about intention a little bit more on this call here, because I think the intention of what we do and how we create things is basically, it drives our entire life. And I want to go into that because I think it's very, very important. Awesome. I love it, Omega. So if we look at the 5 levels of commitment, we have I don't care. Now, I don't care. If you look at the patterns that we have when we create these in our life, we create these responses for a reason. But we don't just say I don't care. I don't believe that anybody. I don't think people just don't care about things. But when people say, well, how have you been doing? And they say, well, I'm doing okay, but I really don't care about where I am. That's typically not true. What it's doing is it's pushing off responsibility of who we are, where we are, and basically every action that we have to do after that moment. And because I don't care thing, it tells people I don't care, so it doesn't really matter if I'm not working, and you can't judge me now because it doesn't matter to me, which is not completely true. So that's number one. The second one is I wish, I hope, I pray. The I wish, I hope, I pray type of thing is really important. How many times have you been talking to somebody and they said, you know what, I get it, I'm gonna pray on that, and I pray like crazy. Like sometimes, like I said on the call, sometimes I think God mutes me a little bit. I'm kind of kidding a little bit, but it's one of those things where I talked a lot to him. So when somebody tells me that they pray, I dig that. However, it's what are we looking for out of the hope, wish, pray? What are we looking to create out of that? See, if we hope, wish, pray, and then we see exactly how God or the universe, depending on your belief, lines things up for you, and you take action on that, changes the whole game. See, if you believe that when you put energy out there, that energy creates things, then you're able to act on it. What's up, Yolanda? 100% committed or die. Jeez, that's intense. It's awesome. What is the difference between being committed and tenacity? The tenacity is what you create once you create the commitment. It's the tenacity is when you are going through the ups and downs, it remains you committed. Hopefully that makes sense. Great question, man. That was good. Made me think there for a second. So when we start looking at the hope, wish, pray, a lot of times what happens is when we hope and we wish and we pray, it's not necessarily that things actually come to fruition. Sometimes we're waiting for these signs to be, the skies to be parted, or to get a text from somebody that we haven't heard from in a while. Excuse me, I need to shut my phone down here. That we get a text from somebody after, that we haven't heard from. If so-and-so texts me, then that's going to be the sign that these prayers are coming to fruition. And I get that. However, it's the belief that we put behind it, which actually, right there, David. So if we look at these hopes, wishes, and prayers, is it really a belief? Like I hope I do. No, I prayed about it. I really wish this works. It's not really anything. It's just weak words. You see, if we hope, wish, pray, I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to put this as a very bold promise. If you hope, wish, pray, depending on your belief, like I said before, and you have full belief behind it, and I put my heart here. This is just where we feel things. When we put our mind and our thoughts into that hope, wish, or prayer with 100% conviction and belief, I promise you this, things will line up. You will see things like you've never seen them before, even though they've been there the entire time. People will come into your life and you're going to go, whoa, that's so crazy. Your belief system and how you put things forward in your thoughts, your words, and your actions will create a life that you've never believed possible. Hopes and wishes and prayers are amazing. Only when you put that belief behind them. That's what creates the action. Number 2 is I'll try. I saw quite a few I'll tries. I've been there. I'll try. I told everybody, man, I'm trying my best. Well, in all reality, was I really trying my best? By the way, when you hit which one I'm hitting you on, where you have been up until this point, today we're going to commit to a better future, even a bigger future, and a crazier, awesome, powerful place to be. So when we really start looking at these things and we're looking at the I'll try thing, look, the I'll try, I think that's just a built-in excuse in our words. I believe that deep in our mind, we're either trying to push people away from us, we've already decided that we're not going to do it, and we don't want to say no. And then, or it's like, well, I know if I say the words I'll try, at least, I'll have some kind of effort behind it. I don't believe I'll try is a real place to be. I don't really believe any of that kind of garbage. I believe that I'll try is, So it's a built-in excuse. Those are those 2 words. You can fight me on that if you want to. It's just my belief system. You're not going to make me believe anything different. So I'm just giving a different perspective. I don't use the words I'll try at all, unless I'm describing it or I miss it. The I'm committed unless, I've heard that so many times, and it's kind of, it goes in lines with the shiny object syndrome, that like, oh man, I love my network marketing company. And then you see another presentation and you're like, oh, I love that one too. I'm going to go to that one. I'm not going to tell anybody. I'm just going to do it. Or another system. Somebody comes at you with a different system. Oh, I see that you're with that system, but check out my system too. I'm committed unless something else better comes along, or a perception of something better, or I created some words here. Or I forget, or I don't feel like doing it, or I think of something else. I'm committed unless. That's not even a great place to be. Like I mentioned before with Higdon, when he committed that he was going to do it, in his first 6 months, he made like $50,000. Man, I don't know if you know about that or not, but that's kind of a lot of money if you really think about it. 50 grand would change a lot of people's lives. In fact, he's going to be going through this tonight at 9:00 p.m. Eastern. I put the above. I don't know where it is. It's somewhere in the description. I wrote it out. It's weeklywebinars.org. You want to hear his story? His story alone will get you off your ass in ways that most people don't even know. And then he's going to tell you how he did it. So if you want to know how he did it, and he's sitting there, and then, before I get to the last level of commitment here, I want you to think about this for just a moment here. He's been able to create almost $1 million inside of this My Lead System Pro. Isn't that incredible when you really think about it? That's a lot of money. Imagine if it took you 10 years to do that. That averages out to $100,000 a year. That's amazing. He wasn't committed unless, he was committed until. That shiny object syndrome kills people. Look, if you think that I have not fallen for that, you are seriously mistaken. I have bounced all over the place. I had like bouncy shoes on where I was just like boing, boing. I was everywhere. And here's the neat thing. You might find systems that promise this lead generation thing and all these different things, and you're gonna find people that are gonna try to convince you that the systems are the same. And systems work. If you put your time in, they work. But here's something you'll never in your life find the same. You're never going to find another Brian Finale. You're never going to find another Jim Finale or Norbert Orlowitz or the team. You're never going to find a community like this. You're never going to find a family like this. You're never going to find a personal development factory like My Lead System Pro creates. You're just not going to. I'm sorry. You won't convince me of anything different. This is why I'm still here. It's been 8 years. 8.5 years. It'll be 9 years in another 6 or 7 months. It's a long time. I'm here because there's an inherent value here that changes people's lives, and I've seen it happen. Changed mine. And then we have the last one. Level 5 commitment. And I want to know who's here with level 5 commitment. It's whatever it takes. Whatever it takes to create the life that you know that you were born to walk into. whatever it takes to create the legacy, whatever it takes to be the person you know you are designed to be. And to think about that for a second here. And I'm not talking about stepping on your grandma to create success. It's funny if you think about it. But what I'm talking about here is that we need to really start paying attention to the words that are sitting inside of our head. Oh, you can't do it. Really? So I'm going to listen to words over the actions that are creating results? No, it doesn't work for you. It doesn't work for me. Really? Because you're that much different than every other person that's gone through the exact same struggles that you've gone through? I can't figure this out. Because you're different than every other person that couldn't figure it out but stayed and did whatever it took to learn what it was? You know, it's really kind of funny. When I went to, I did a little stint in college, not very much, just a couple of semesters. And I went inside of, I did accounting. I did accounting for 2 semesters. Whew, that's in-depth stuff. And by the time the second semester came around, I went, man, this is too much. I can't figure this out. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm out. And I ended up dropping out. I dropped out of college back when I was 20 years old. I'm just grateful for this profession who pushed me back into educating myself in the areas that I needed to be educated in order to become the successful person I am today. And I don't say success lightly. Success doesn't have anything to do with money. Success means I get to stay home and listen to my boys play Monopoly out there in the other room. But if you really start taking a look at it, I can't, my screen was blurry. I can't even see anything. So when we slowly start looking at things and we look at whatever it takes, are you different? See, the reason I told you the accounting story is because of one thing and one thing only, is that I understand accounting now. See, I was in a textbook being told what to learn. When I moved into my father-in-law's concrete masonry company, I had to take the knowledge he was giving me, which I didn't even know, and implement it and create programs out of it. And all of a sudden, I'm like, wow, this stuff makes so much sense. I wonder how I know it all. It's because that knowledge that I learned when I was 20 years old all of a sudden came all back, and it was only because I implemented it. Whatever it takes. Sitting on a webinar is not going to make you money. It's implementing what you learn. Going through a course, purchasing a course, going through coaching, having a mentor, going through all this stuff doesn't mean anything unless you're committed to whatever it takes. And whatever it takes means you got to get your butt in action. And that's the biggest thing that I missed. I'm like, I know everything there is about marketing. Where is my money? Oh, crap. It's on the other side of Action Land. I avoided Action Land like crazy because I was terrified if I screwed it up, what would people say to me? I had no intention in my life at all. I had no intention. And what I mean by intention is my intention today is to impact someone's life. And I can't impact someone's life by sitting on my butt doing nothing. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you. Facebook Lives are great. Doing a great quote post is awesome. But here's the thing. That only goes so far. People will eventually go to somebody else because they're taking different action. They may do a Facebook Live and they may connect with the people that are actually commenting on their lives. You want to make an impact on somebody's life? When they comment on your live and you're not quite sure who they are, reach out to them and have a conversation with them. Find out why they're there. How can you do something to impact their life? Andy Andrew says, when confronted with a challenge, the committed heart will search for a solution. And I think that's very powerful. The second one is just as powerful. The undecided heart searches for an escape. The undecided heart searches for escape. I'm committed unless. And then we look at Zig. Discipline yourself to do the things you need to do when you need to do them, and the day will come when you'll be able to do the things you want to do when you want to do them. What's up, Raisa? So let me ask you this question. Share this, by the way. Let me ask you this question real quick. What would you be doing right now if you could do anything in your life? Where would you be? What would you be doing right now? It's the day before Thanksgiving here in the States. Where would you be? What would you be doing? When you will be able to do the things you want to do when you want to do them. I want to read something here real quick. I'm not going to keep you guys all day. Tom Ziegler said something to me, and I said this on the call, and it was like, man, that there is no comfort zone, that we completely make it up. That we're really good. We do a great job as human beings as creating a box to live in. We create these boxes, parameters of what we believe possibility is. There was a person, I got into a heated debate, and he says to me, I don't believe just because you've seen somebody, know somebody, or been around somebody, or taught by somebody that's been successful, that you can have the same success. I was like, oh, okay, well, why not? He said, because we're not all wired the same. And I said, man, thank God for that. I said, but what does that have to do with becoming successful? You see, we use these excuses of, well, they're different than me. I don't have a story, which that's not true. We all have a story. Maybe that'd be a fun webinar, Brian, helping people create their stories. I'll get to the quote again. Thank you. Which one were you looking at, Angie's or Zig Ziglar's? The longer one or the shorter one? The Undecided Heart? I'll read them both in a second. So you might have to rewind the call. So if we think about it right here, there's only one difference between the successful and the non-successful. There's only one. It's the action that they take. It's all it is. It took me longer to get success because I decided that it was going to take me longer. I decided that there were things that were more important. And it wasn't a conscious decision. Think about your conscious decisions for a minute here. If you thought about it, when you woke up this morning, you said, today's the day I'm going to create success today. I'm going to reach out to some people. And then your subconscious mind jumped in and said, whoo, doggy. Take it easy for a second. That's really uncomfortable. What happens if people say no? What happens if we get rejected? What happens if things don't work out the way they say? What happens worse if they don't answer the phone and we have to leave a message? Oh my gosh, what about all these things? And your conscious mind is going, yeah, but I thought we said we were going to create success today. And all those insecurities, fears, and doubts that feed us lies all day long are telling us that we can't do it. We create a box. We're really great at creating a box to live in. And that box, we make it up, and we call that our comfort zone. Well, there isn't one. There's no comfort zone. There wasn't a comfort zone when you were a baby. When you're a baby, you reached out and yanked your mom's earrings out of her ears. And you didn't care about the consequences. You pulled her hair, threw up on her, pooped pants. None of that mattered, right? None of it mattered. And all of a sudden somebody said, you shouldn't poop your pants. And you were like, oh, yeah, but I've been doing it my entire life. Yeah, but you can't do that anymore. Well, you can't reach out and grab somebody. You can't reach out and do this. All of a sudden, parameters start putting in our lives, and then we use those as ways that we think we should be living. Now, yes, we should have rules and regulations. You shouldn't go to the bathroom in your pants, of course. You shouldn't reach out and pull people's hair. Yes, of course. And all of a sudden, somebody says, getting a no is bad. For the first 2 years of network marketing, I didn't realize that rejection was a bad thing. I didn't know that no was a rejection. I just thought somebody was just saying, I don't want your juice. That's what I did for the first couple of years. I did juice. I don't like it. It tastes bad. Oh, okay, cool. And I just let it go. And then I went to an event and I found out how bad no's were. It was like, I got 10 million no's and it crushed me every time. And I'm like, no's are bad? Planted a seed. Created a comfort zone. I did it. I did it from something that somebody told me. So my question for you is what have you been told that stifled your success? What have you been told that stifled your success? What did somebody tell you? Did somebody tell you that you couldn't do it? Somebody tell you when you were younger that you were not worthy or not good enough? I've worked with people in the past, you guys don't know them, outside of our industry, that their parents told them they were garbage. You're stupid. Isn't it interesting how we use that as truth? Do you know the truth is your truth about you is a perception you create about yourself? Think about that for a second. Here's something else. I did this on a call the other night with some people, and If you think about every thought that we have, where we are, our belief system, our meaning, if you look at, all right, so what do we got here? I'll do this in 2 minutes or less, and then we'll jump out of here, and I'll let you guys start getting geared up and kicking some major butt before Thanksgiving kicks in. By the way, don't talk about your network marketing company at Thanksgiving dinner. Just don't. Trust me later. If you want to know why, message me or something. It'll just be a disaster. Trust me on that one. So I want you to think about something for a minute here. You guys have heard, I think Aaron talks about this too, and I'm sure you've heard Brian talk about this as well, is that we have this story of our life that we've created, right? You know, it's all input. You know, we got all this stuff that happens. You're 2 years old, you start walking, you fall down, and eventually you fall down enough. We're like, well, that sucks. I don't want to fall down anymore. So then we try everything we can to not fall down. So we start creating meaning around falling down. Falling down equals pain, right? It's a very, very simple thing. Well, the same exact thing happens through life. I had a job. I did this. I lost my job. I must not be good at doing that. I had a girlfriend or a boyfriend. They cheated on me. People are untrustworthy. And all of a sudden we start creating these stories and this meaning around life. I called 10 people. They all told me, cram it in your butt. Well, this must not work for me. So we start creating this story around who we are, and it dictates meaning, right? The meaning of what we think is possible, which creates belief. And your belief system goes straight through and it dictates all of your actions. Well, here's a neat thing. If you created your entire story, which created the meaning about what you think is possible, which dictated your belief system, well, what do you want to believe? What do you want to believe is possible? Because it's all been dictated by somebody else. It's all this input that's happening, and you're perceiving it how you perceive it. So how do you want to perceive things? That person cheated on me. Ooh, I bet they probably had low self-confidence, and I triggered it. And they want somebody else that's on the same level as them. Oh, it had nothing to do with me. Maybe I can trust people. I called 10 people. They all said no. Maybe they weren't the right person that was open to an opportunity. Maybe it had nothing to do with me. Maybe it had to do with the people I'm talking to. Cool. No story around that. And all of a sudden, the story starts shifting. Because if you remove the whole idea that you're not enough, or you're not good at something, or things don't work for you, what possibility could you create for yourself? Where could you go? What could you do? What would you be doing now? You'd probably hang up right now and be like, damn, Steve, I got freaking people to call. Peace out. I gotta go, man. I gotta make some calls. I gotta do some Facebook Lives. I got webinars to do. I got people to impact. I got money to make. I gotta feed my economy with all the closes I'm about to create, which is another belief around closing, that you are an economy creator. Start thinking about the stories that you're telling yourself about yourself. And if you want to change your whole entire freaking life, change the story. See it as a different perception. And I promise you this, your meaning of everything that you see will dictate your beliefs, and your beliefs will shift. See, possibility has nothing to do with anything that you've ever done in your life. Possibility is everything that you do from here on out. Has nothing to do with your past. Nothing. Has everything to do with where you want to go. You're like, well, I'm not good enough. Get better. I'm not smart enough. Learn some stuff. I don't know how to do it. Figure it out. There's YouTube channels. Oh my goodness gracious. There's 10 million hours of training in the back office of My Lead System Pro. Yes, share wherever you want. I was asked for the quotes. I'll give you the quotes really quick. Let's see. Andy Andrews said, when confronted with a challenge, a committed heart will search for a solution. The undecided heart searches for an escape. Zig Ziglar said, discipline yourself to do the things you need to do when you need to do them, and the day will come when you will be able to do the things you want to do when you want to do them. My friends, I'm going to go. Here's the thing. Put intention behind everything that you do. If you go to take action and there's a person in your brain that says, I can't, or I don't think so, or something that's not pushing you toward the thing, ask yourself this question. Is this a real thought, or did I just make that stuff up from something that somebody told me? And the answer is always going to be, somebody told me something that made me doubt myself. And if they fed you with their opinions, then damn it, change it. It does not dictate who you are. You do not need to receive anybody's opinion unless you want it. And if you did have that opinion feed you, choose differently. I love you guys. 11:58. Brian, I did it before noon. I have, oh man, I was so close, 12 away from my 100 comment goal. Anyways, all right, we'll have to share this around then. So make sure you share this. If you guys have not registered for Higdon tonight, man, if you just show up for his story alone, I promise you this, it will blow your heart to shreds, and it will create a fire inside of you that will just light you up. And you want to get people on there, man, because he's going to share the goods. He's going to share with you exactly what he did to become the powerhouse that he is these days. The guy's, there's not a lot of people in our industry that I really look up to. He's probably one of the top 5. Yep, you're one of the top 5 too, Brian, of course, because I love you, brother. But he's definitely one of them. And I followed him from where he was. And I know what he went through, and I watched it, and it was painful to watch. And man, if he can do it, so can you. Be blessed. It's Thanksgiving. Do me a favor. Let's follow this up. Put on here somewhere one thing that you're grateful for. I love you guys. Have an absolutely outstanding day. And if you're in the States and you're celebrating Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving. I'm grateful for you right now.